So I work at an international Spanish academy, and what that means is that I work at a public dual language elementary school. So for the majority of my students, they do half of their day in English and half of their day in Spanish. And that means that the majority of my students are bilingual. Some are native Spanish speakers and some are native English speakers, and both parties are learning the other language throughout the school day, which is great. However, I know very, very little Spanish, and I'm learning quickly being here, but I still have a lot to learn. So yesterday with one of my groups, we were looking at this book, which by the way is a beautiful book about Abuela who comes to live with her granddaughter and their family. And Abuela only speaks Spanish and her granddaughter only speaks English, and they kind of have to figure out how to work through their language barrier. Now, we were talking about the cover of the book, what we thought might happen, the characters that we thought might be in the story, and we were talking about how we think the characters feel based on this picture. So we were talking about Abuela, and I asked, how do we think Abuela feels? And one of my students said that Abuela feels happy. And so I asked, how do we know just by looking at this picture that Abuela feels happy? And one of my students, who is more fluent in Spanish, said, Abuela es domingo. Now I know that domingo means Sunday, but the other tricky thing is that a lot of my students have speech sound errors, which means that they might not be producing all of their speech sounds accurately. So I can't even Google Translate what they might be trying to say because they might not be saying all of the sounds in the word. So, does anybody know what my student could have been trying to say when she said, I know that Abuela is happy because Abuela es domingo? Now I asked, what does that mean in English? And some of the other students in the group said Sunday, and she couldn't really tell me. Like I said, she's more fluent in Spanish, and so what could she have meant? Abuela es domingo. Now she does have a language impairment, so maybe she did mean Abuela is Sunday. But I'm wondering if there is another word that could sound kind of like domingo. I don't know. So this is my problem. I'm trying really hard to learn Spanish. If you have any advice on how to learn Spanish more quickly, I wish that I would have taken Spanish in college. I have tried Duolingo, but I'm not great at Duolingo. But yeah, I need to learn Spanish.